So I'm waiting for a bus. Got about 10, 15 minutes. And Spirit's been saying, get on there and do a video about the little red hen. And I am. But I'm laughing because I decided I would stand up and walk around. And I'm going to show you something that I just literally walked up on, okay? It's this, right? Which, if you look closely, it's the mountains. But look at what it says down here. The center of the universe, which there is actually a place. I would never have believed it if I had not seen it on the map. There is a place in Washington called the center of the universe, and I'm laughing because that is right there. Like, I can't make that up. I did not know that was there. I literally walked to throw something in the garbage and to get on and talk to you guys, and bam, there it is. And I love it too because it's representation of the rivers that flow, and it reminds me of that quote that I took on when I took on this adventure, you know. It was, let me lead you to the river so you can be reminded of what it feels like to be moved by something you cannot control. Now, in this deliciously short amount of time, I wanted to come on and leave some guidance for my fellow divine feminines. At first, I want to give myself a little shout out because I now have over 21 people who are ready and willing to learn from Professor Wickedly Divine Feminine. And we've got a venue. We've got some other people who want to come and teach, and it's like a combination. I threw it all out there. I was like, look, I can do magic, I can do manifestation, I can teach business. I've been a certified life, business, relationship NLP coach since 2012. I've had so many businesses. I've been practicing magic for over 25 years, and look at what I'm doing. And many of these people know me out here, and I love it because they see it, right? And a lot of you see it. I'm going to live stream a fair amount of it too, because I know there are many of you that have requested I do that because you're like in New York or New Jersey or Florida, and you have kiddos and other adults who would like to be involved in this stuff. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it, right? So I'm doing that. I'm getting on the bus today. For one, I need a little herb, but for two, my son's cockatiel, who is still in the car with us, he needs a little vitamin D. And you know what I was thinking about? I was joking with him. I was like, I don't normally do this with my kiddo, but I'm like, you better love me as your mama. I'll get on the bus to go bus all the way into the big town to get your birdie some vitamin D and make sure you're feeding him salad and mangoes and good things for him. And, you know, and I'm just joking. He goes, I know, Mom. He goes, I love you. Thank you for helping me. And I'm like, I know you do. I love you too. So, and then I left to go get on the bus, right? But I love it because, you know what? Spirit is providing. A lot of you have continued to donate, and it's always just a little more than enough, which is a funny manifestation, kind of a joke with my guys. Like, and I got a friend who's bringing up another car, which means that we'll have a vehicle to be able to move around in, get a little more income in. I can have my son closer with me when I do go to work. We're waiting to hear from the apartment people. I know that's going to work out. It's just a time thing. Work is going fantastic. I'm working in the kitchen. Everybody's loving me there. And guess what I get to talk about all day with my coworkers? Like astrology and magic and manifestation and things like that. Like I couldn't have asked for better, right? And because of all the snowstorms and things like that and the different things that are going on, it's a little bit slower in the beginning, which is just what my body needs to get reintegrated into that kind of stuff. And the schedule is perfect for me to be able to teach classes and be able to teach crochet. I think I've got over 30 people now who want to learn crochet, and I'm like, see, they can't get in this. Like, just for fun, just sitting around crocheting with other moms and a couple of dads and kids. I was like, because some people were like, well, but I have kids. I'm like, you know what? The place that we're going to do it is totally all ages. The night that I picked, which might not be that night, but I was like, that night is all ages karaoke. You should totally bring them, right? And I'm happy to try to teach kids. Kids kind of, they have some dexterity and attention span issues a fair amount of time with crocheting, but I'm happy to keep teaching them. And half the time, if they just see us sitting there enjoying our stitching bitch, they're going to want to do it too, right? Now, the reason I say all that, because add on top of that, I'm also managing the energy of the pirates and my youngest son, who is with my DM, their dad, and keeping the flow of things going that way. And that's mostly just with my consciousness. I'm not doing a lot of things in the 3D because I don't need to, because Spirit's got them covered. But the reason I mention all of that is because it really brings me back to that parable of Little Red Hen. There might be some other names for it, but the basic story, all the farm animals, right? They're all on the farm. And Little Red Hen's like, hey, we need to plant some seeds, right? We need to plant some seeds so we can grow some food, have some delicious stuff by the time harvest season comes around. And all the other farm animals are like, well, we don't want to. We don't want to till the soil. We don't want to plant this stuff. No. So Little Red Hen's like, okay. She didn't argue. She just went and tilled the soil. She pulled the weeds. She made the spaces for the seeds, and she planted them in there, right? Then the time comes the garden, or the little farm, homestead, I guess, needs to have the weeds pulled. She says, all right, everybody, you got to come out and help me take care of this stuff. We got to water things. We got to pull weeds. We got to do this stuff. And they're all, hey, we don't want to. We want to go play. It's nice and warm outside. So she says, okay. And she goes and does it, though, joyfully, right? She's happy to go and pull the weeds, water the plants, tend them, trim them where they need to be. And then it gets to be harvest season. She's like, all right, everybody, could use your help. It's time to harvest all this wheat and all these delicious carrots and everything like that, all the vegetables. And again, all the other farm animals, the duck and the lamb, and I'm just going to throw a lion in there. I'm not sure why. It'll be significant for somebody. And gopher. I don't know why on that one either. But they all didn't want to. Like, nobody else wanted to, and they're all bitching and moaning. We don't want to. And Little Red Hen doesn't argue. She just says, okay. And she goes and does it herself. She labors. She gets out her scythe, and she cuts out all the wheat. She pulls the carrots. She washes them. She cleans them. And one more time, she says, okay, everybody, why don't you come and help me process this stuff? Let's get it ready. We're going to make some bread and some stew and some soup. Would like your help. And all the farm animals are going, you don't want to do that. There's better things to do, and you've done everything else already. You don't need our help. She says, no, I don't really. And okay. So Little Red Hen, she gets all of her ingredients together. She's washed everything. She puts it together, and she decides to start cooking. You know, she puts it together. She bakes some pies. She bakes some bread. And suddenly, the farm is full of these delicious smells, right? And everybody that did not want to help, they come and they say, oh, that smells so good. They see the pie in the window. They can see the bread on the oven. And she's just about to carve into it. And they're like, ooh, can we come in and have some of that? And Little Red Hen says, no. And they were like, what? Why? And said, because when I asked you to help me till the soil and plant the seeds, you didn't want to. And that was fine. And then when I asked you to help me weed and tend the garden and the farm, you didn't want to. And that was fine. I did it. And when I asked you to help me harvest everything, get it all cut up and pulled up and brought in, you didn't want to. And then when I asked you to help me process things, get them all ready, get it into the stews and the pie, turn it into bread, knead the dough, you didn't want to. And you know what? That's okay. But since you didn't want to do any of that stuff with me, you don't get any of the rewards at the end. Now, I'm a bit of a softie. I like to think that I would much rather be Little Red Hen, who's like, I might say something like that because I'm a Capricorn and I'm sassy like that. I'd still share. And in some of the versions of that parable, she does. She makes them sit there and watch her eat some of it, and they're like, but we're hungry. We didn't plant any seeds, and we didn't do any sowing, and we didn't tend anything, and now our cupboards are bare, Kind of like the ant and the grasshopper, too. It's like, well, did you do the work? No. Well, that's why you don't get to reap the rewards of somebody who did do the work. But the guidance today, fellow divine feminines, is to consider, where would you be on that spectrum? What kind of energy are you putting out into this world? Are you in a space where you would be like, no, fuck you, you can't have any of what I have. I worked hard for this and you didn't help me. Are you in a space where you're grateful? You're grateful to see that you did all that work yourself, that you have such an abundance that you can share. I was actually quite delighted because last night I went and I don't often go to Sadhguru's specific channel, but I'm subscribed to him because I like to watch stuff that he puts out. But I went and checked out his channel. I love it. He's got such a great sense of humor. He's just a huge spiritual person and great sense of humor. But he did a YouTube short that was about the spiritual importance of being selfish. And I'm laughing. I was telling my oldest son, because this was 6 days ago that he posted this. I just watched it last night. But he put it up 6 days ago. That's a few months after I put up a whole bunch of videos and a whole bunch of social media posts about being selfish in good ways, right? In self-loving ways. And the differences between selfishness and self-centeredness and conceit and self-love and things like that. And I'm like going, I played with this thing in my mind of like, say if I have to get off here, I'm just going to get on the bus. I love you all, but I think I still got a minute. But no, like, I was thinking about it, like, wouldn't that be hilarious if Sadhguru was watching me? I wouldn't put it past him. He's the type that he would definitely find something in anyone's stuff, you know what I mean? But the real truth is, I've aligned with the same sort of energy that he and others are picking up on. And I'm really excited about that. And I want y'all to get up on there. I want you to think about selfishness. Like, what are the different facets of it? What are the different ways that it can help you and hurt you? And watch Sadhguru's thing. It talks about, like, the importance is just simply not being selfish in an exclusive way. You want to be inclusively selfish. Anyways, y'all, my bus is here. So I love y'all, and I'll see you in the next video.